Hello, everyone. We are here. Do you get any feedback?
Yeah, I'm getting a little feedback.
It's probably someone else.
I think it's coming from Cal. So if you can mute first, it will be fixed, I think.
Try talking to her.
Okay, hi. Feedback, yes, feedback.
Yeah, feedback, but it's not for me.
Okay.
Oh,
James
now I think we're good. I think it's James. If you don't mind throwing in some headphones.
Okay. Yeah, James, can you put on some headphones? Maybe it's your speakers who are doubling the sound.
I was mute, and you mean I need to mute or unmute myself?
You have to unmute on Discord, but you have to mute the site. So you can speak, but the sound doesn't come twice.
All right. I need unmute in the Discord.
Yes, but above on the tabs, you can right click to the tab, and then you have to click on mute site.
All right. Okay. Hold on.
So the sound doesn't come out of the tab. I'm just gonna close my door.
Oh, okay. So I mute both sides. So I will speak on this Zoom, right? Sorry.
Yep.
All right. Now it's better?
Yep. Now you're good.
Okay.
Sweet.
Learning something. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. So I'll jump into just kind of talking about Leo and what we do. So LeoFinance is a Web3 project.
Wait, Cal. Just one second. Oh, sorry. You were already.
When, Eric? When?
Yeah, sorry. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the delays. This is the first cross-chain roundtable organized by LeoFinance. Sorry for all the delays, but we are here live. Cal, sorry for interrupting you so harsh. The first thing we are going to do is every dApp founder will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves, their dApps, talk a little bit about the roadmap, and then we will begin the roundtable. So Cal, sorry, can you introduce a little bit about yourself and the LeoFinance dApp, please?
Yeah. So my name's Cal. I am project manager of LeoFinance. It's a Web3 ecosystem. And, we like to call it the Leoverse. Basically, our mission is to democratize financial knowledge and opportunity. So, I think there's a big gap in the world right now where, people aren't super educated about finance, but there's a lot of people that are starting to get into the space. And I think it's something that should be taught to everyone from a young age, but clearly isn't. So that's really what LeoFinance is about teaching people about finance and also providing them some opportunities to get deeper into the space. And crypto lets us do that in some really cool ways with tokenization and Web3. With LeoFinance, what we're about is, more than just social media or bringing people together. It's really about, disseminating great ideas and getting a solid knowledge base of really cool ideas and projects. And, I think this show is just kind of an extension of that, where we're bringing in founders from other projects and talking about cool stuff. So I will pass the torch on.
James, can you please tell us a little bit about HeroContinent built on the BNB Smart Chain?
Yeah. So basically, this is a GameFi project, and we choose to build on the Binance Smart Chain because I think, first of all, Binance is the #1 platform we are using, and the second is BSC is quite fast, and also it's cheap. So we choose on that, and so most GameFi dApps they are using BSC, so that's normal for us to choosing this chain. And for GameFi itself, we think from the year 2018, Axie Infinity they start this trend or this popularity. So for up and down, but now this year 2022, I think we're trying to grow up this game again. So we're starting our GameFi this year again.
That is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe what's your background, or why did you decide to go to go into the cryptoverse?
All right. After graduated in New Zealand, we are a Chinese student who study in New Zealand, and our majority in the university is marketing, and also marketing and international businesses. So we found nowadays in China the major business is e-commerce, but after 10 years really highly rapid growing, the business is getting done. So we're looking for the new trend or the new business to do. So we started looking at Web3. So everyone can understand from the Web3, we can include that cryptocurrency and metaverse, NFT, and DeFi, and also GameFi. So after did a little bit marketing research, we found still in the like the age from 16 to 46, something like that, everybody is keen on the games. So we're trying to making some games, and we checked from all those games who are doing from the small one to the big ones. We think only the small ones that are attractive more people, and it is easy for learn and easy to understand and easy to play. And we call ourselves GameFi, but also we call ourselves play to earn. So when you invest on this game, and you will also get back the money investment. So it is good for people who are even student, and some of the low income people, those people will like it. And
Awesome.
talk about the marketing. We think the majority of the players, they are coming from southeast of China, southeast of Asia, and some from the European, and a little bit coming from African. So that's where they come from.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really great to have people from all these regions, because the background and the obstacles they are facing, it's very different. So it's great to have you, James. I wasn't giving you the word. Please, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your dApp?
Yeah, of course. I'm Ozon. I am the founder of Avaxtars. I have a background of software development, like 20 years now, and I am running my own software company, like 13 years now. And normally, we are working with enterprise companies, and we are building e-commerce and other stuff for big commerce sites in Turkey. And we started Avaxtars 1.5 years now. And in fact, I have been into blockchain right after I have got into blockchain. I have started Avaxtars project. When we started, there was a boom of NFTs on Avalanche, and we wanted to do something and utilize NFTs on Avalanche. And afterwards, we started Avaxtars. First, we have sold around 10,000 NFTs, And then we have started to utilize those NFTs. Now we have a full game where people can put their NFTs into some machines and generate new ones. And also they can farm some tokens, and also they can buy items. They can increase their items. In fact, they are improving their items. And also there are missions in Avaxtars. So you can send your Gen 2 NFTs to missions. After the missions, you may get some rewards, and all of the missions have some requirements also. So there is a big ecosystem in Avaxtars. And also we have a metaverse slot where we partner with projects, so that if you have an NFT from that project, you can put it into your character, and then you will get some benefit on success ratios, etc. So Avaxtars is a real big ecosystem. And also what makes it different is Avaxtars has a layer 2 part, like a central exchange, in fact, where you can send or you can do game actions without paying transaction fees. Because when you have a big ecosystem, then transaction fees, even if it's so low, so cheap on Avalanche, makes it harder for the users. Because, we had some times on Avalanche, for example, for Grabada, it was so high transaction fees that even if you play the game, even if you win, you were losing money because transaction fees were higher than your gains. So it is a start for us, in fact, even if there is a full game where our players are playing, because we are now working on new designs of our website. And also we will open a new mobile application where also not the blockchain, but other users will be able to join, because penetration of blockchain is still in progress. And when you make a game, in order to increase your audience, you need those who don't know blockchain and who doesn't have a wallet. So we will open a mobile application so that users will be able to join, and then of course they will be able to transfer their assets to their wallets if they decide to start having blockchain wallet, etc. And lastly, we will be opening 3 more chain integrations where users will be able to bridge their NFTs to other chains. And we call it multi-chain war, because we will have a PvP section also on multi-blockchain area.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the main issues with cryptocurrency is transaction fees and scalability. So it sounds like you have it all under control, and it's pretty good that you already found a way to gamify NFTs in a successful way. Yeah, honestly, Avaxtars sounds pretty interesting. I just dropped the website's link on the Discord channel if anyone wants to check it out. And to go to the next topic, basically now we are just starting the roundtable. So the first thing I want to ask you, Carl, James, Ozan, so you are dApp founders, and you have experienced different obstacles, different paths. So what are the main obstacles in your region when building a dApp, and what can you advise entrepreneurs who are trying to go global and who are just starting a dApp? What can you tell them? Like, what are the best practices, and what can you just share all of your knowledge about going global when building a dApp, and what are your struggles in your region, and how do you want to expand? Carl, can you start, please?
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of different people that have wanted to start things and who have started things. both in crypto and, in the real software world outside of crypto. And I'd say like one of the biggest things that gets people caught up is not creating a minimum viable product first and taking it to market and seeing if there's any actual interest in it. So a lot of times what you see is people will sit and basically develop something for months or even years on end with this kind of ideal future in mind. And they think that because to them it's they envision the perfect product at the end, that other people are going to see that and want to use it immediately. It's kind of like that old saying, if you build it, they will come. And typically that's never true. If you have to build the thing and you have to see that the market actually wants the thing, and then you also have to put it in front of the right eyeballs. So in my opinion, a lot of the mistakes that come from starting a project in crypto or outside of crypto is not actually taking something to market right away and getting any sort of initial traction. And if that means taking your product to market and having 5 initial users, that's much better than sitting in an echo chamber and building something with 0 users and just yourself and your team just kind of looking at it. Because like I said, it's easy to sit in your own corner and think that you're building a great product, but when you actually take that thing to market, it's very possible that nobody will want it. And there's kind of this really famous example of it in the normal like mainstream arena, and it was this app. I'm forgetting the name, but it was basically like a streaming app, and they there was billions of dollars invested in it. They raised so much money from venture capital. They had some of the biggest actors in the world, basically promoting the app and having shows on the app. And then when they finally took it to market, it gained like almost no traction, immediately blew up, and never really went anywhere. So, that's just a perfect example of building something in an echo chamber and not actually taking it to market, and seeing that, the people that are going to be using it potentially don't actually want to use it, and there's no reason for them to use it. So, when it comes to Leo and stuff that we've done, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because we do take things to market very quickly, but that also means there's a lot of bugs. That being said, I think it's far better to take something early to market as opposed to later. So take something early to market that isn't finished, and get some feedback, get a few users, get some traction, and kind of build from there. That would be my number one piece of advice to anybody starting anything.
Yeah, one of the things that we are all familiar with when we are in crypto and blockchain is that we are all early adopters and we are first users. So most of the products are still in alpha or beta. So as much feedback as we can give to the founders, it's very important. James, do you want to share some of your experiences when you founded HeroContinent?
Yeah, sure. I just trying to explain in my view, in my opinion, my personal opinion about the GameFi. Okay, so if you want to do this GameFi in your project, or you will focus on this, I think there are a few things it really matters. I think it's very important. First one is community, because for the members, you will have before, like I said, our players are coming from mostly from Southeast Asia, and some maybe come from the Philippines, some of them from Thailand, from China, from Vietnam. So none of these countries' players, they were able to communicate together. So in that way, we cannot create a whole community. So in the beginning, like we are using Facebook, we are using TG, Telegram, we are using WeChat in China, we are using Zalo in Vietnam. So it is a mess. So in the end, we started using Discord as a whole. So we trying to gathering people slowly, gradually, and people think Discord will have some difficulty to learn, because jump from one app to another one it definitely make you some time to learn about it. But after you get used to it and the people start communication, like the Thailand people can start talking with the Vietnam people, Philippine people, Chinese people. So that will make the community a real one, or we call that organic. So people will share all the results you have. You think, oh, this game is good, or this game have some advantage, and they will give some suggestion for real. Because if you only stay in one place, I mean, if you only stay in China community and the people always only focus on one thing, and you don't know what other people think about it, or even they giving you the wrong direction to make you to change to the wrong direction for the development. That's why I think community is very important. And now we focus on the Discord and Twitter. So Twitter for announcements in the public, and the Discord can allow the members or players to play and the community in the same place, which I think is very, very cool. And the second is
James, just one second, James. Sorry for interrupting you. Could you unmute on Discord, please? Just right click on your name. Sorry for the interruption, but we're getting some feedback from Discord. And don't worry, we will cut this for the final version.
Right. I already unmute. Let me try again. Sorry.
What's your username on Discord, James?
Who am I?
Yeah. Actually, I already mute my voice and my microphone.
Oh, you should just unmute your mic on Discord. You can leave it deafened.
Unmute.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
And then yeah. Oh.
So now it's good.
Yep,
Yes.
good. All good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, okay. Now I can understand. All right. So after talk about the community itself, okay, and the community have to gathering all the players all in the same pool. Let's say that. Otherwise, it will get you confused. Especially every country, they have their own culture, and when you go to global, you have to using something for balance, and that balance you can never achieved by only one country or only one culture. That's what I'm trying to say. And second is all the dev, all the staff of the members should do to keep on talking with your players, because somebody may find, okay, this is a very small, tiny problems, but that may cost your project totally lose in the future. And if you don't listen to what the players report or suggestion, and even it is very minor, and you don't communication, that will be ruin your project in the end. I think that's two very, very important things. That's what I'm trying to suggest if your project going to globally.
Yeah, it is definitely something very important to know how to regionalize and how to create strategies to that actually work globally. And one of the main things that you have to do is just listen to your audience. So, Ozen, can you share your thoughts here, please?
Yeah, of course. And for the community, the biggest problem for regionalize your project is sometimes on crypto, especially, users want to make a connection with the founders. And for example, we are a Turkish project, and our Turkish community is better and more attractive than the other ones, because they are feeling the connection, they are more active. And I think it's because, as I said, they want to make a connection. So it's so hard to globalize your project on that, I guess. And on the other side, when you build a GameFi the biggest problem is the user expectations. Many GameFi projects are misleading their users for their incomes, etc. For example, they are making a launch pad and then they are giving their tokens, and there are many people who get those tokens at a high price during the hype, and they are losing money. So what we have done was we didn't sell any tokens at the start. So we just made it for NFTs, and then the users earned money, earned tokens, sorry, from the game. And misleading is the biggest problem, because you see some projects, they have good visuals, etc. But when it comes to gameplay, some of them are even not starting. So having an MVP is the most important thing, having a working product. And many of the projects are missing that part. And on the other hand, having a really exciting game is very important. So utilization, because it's not, if you build your game just on play to earn, you lose some users and you don't get that traction. So being competitive and also a full game, a working game is really important, and adding new features is way more important, because users want new features to play on, so that it will not become just a play to earn, but play and earn game, because you cannot continue with just users who wants to just multiply their money, and it makes users unhappy and missing. So these are important for the starters, and I see a lot of projects that sells their NFTs and getting disappeared. It's like when you build an app, they are paying for your trust also. So if you won't build, you shouldn't sell those NFTs, or you shouldn't mislead people. So on the user side, also I suggest users to research first about the project before getting their NFTs, because visuals is easy. You can create visuals and make a project that as if it will continue. But for example, we are here for more than 1.5 years now, and we are still progressing, and it's so hard to continue. For current market conditions, for example, it's really easy to give up, but we didn't. So it's important for a project to move on. And also human resources in the project is so important, because on blockchain the skill set is so hard to find. So many projects suffer from continuing because they are lacking human resources. So projects should know that they have to move on every condition, because when you start, you need to finish it, or you need to continue it. It's not something that you can give up, because when you build community, they're buying your, I couldn't explain well. So you're telling that you will do something, and they're buying your talk, not the exact product mostly. So it's like a Kickstarter, as I said. So project starters should be take care of these missions for themselves.
Yeah, one of the main issues when you are leading a team, and when you are pretty much on a new technology ecosystem, is to keep on building and to keep on creating, even during a bear market. So it is definitely something important to consider. So which leads me to my next question. You are dApp founders on different blockchains, which is something very like out of the norm. Like you are part of the 0.001% of the population, that you are not only entrepreneurs, you are blockchain founders. So can you share a little bit of your creation process? How do you come up with new ideas? How is your how do you pick your team? How do you handle your team? How do you handle your deadlines? Because I'm hoping that a lot of potential founders will listen to this in the future. So it's a good thing to just give them some feedback and share some of your experiences when dealing with developers, when dealing with creatives. How do you make the synergy work? And how do you plan for your future? Cal, do you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the way I handle my team is I ask them when and they tell me soon. Just kidding. So we basically have a rough roadmap of things that we're going to achieve over, say, an 18-month period of time. And then with depending on the team, because the way that LeoFinance is set up is that we've got a social team and then we've got a DeFi team. So on the social side, updates are usually broken down into bi-weekly updates. So there are bi-weekly deadlines for them to hit certain aspects of the roadmap. So for example, these might be small ticket items, like just the other day we added emojis to threads, and that's kind of like a deadline within a deadline. So the 2-week deadline includes say 3 different things that are on that similar scale, but then they'll basically deliver the code one step at a time. So on the social side, it's bi-weekly, and then on the DeFi side, it's a little bit more complex because we're working with smart contracts. So when you're working with smart contracts, things get a lot more hazy. I would say it's a lot harder to predict when things are going to get done. When it comes to smart contracts, often we're writing a smart contract and then we're testing it, and then we're writing things in testnet and then moving it over. And when we find something that doesn't work, we got to go back to the drawing board. So I would say if you're predicting how long it takes to build something with a smart contract, I would multiply it by 10. It's a lot harder than you might think. So that's kind of how the team is managed for the most part. We basically have a dashboard where we're collecting ideas and pushing things around. So in terms of ideation and coming up with the next things to develop, I would say Leo started with a very singular vision of what we were going to do, and then it expanded from there as more people joined the community and more people joined the team. When Leo started, it was basically myself and one other developer, and then it expanded from there. And now we've got well over 15 developers and a bunch of other team members who are working on marketing, and it's a lot more of a developed company instead of just we got a developer and we've got a founder and we're just kind of pushing from there. So now there's a lot of visions that are kind of coinciding to, sometimes those visions butt heads and sometimes they work perfectly together. I actually think it's a great thing when 2 people on the team have 2 different visions for something, and then we kind of hash it out and try to figure out the best path forward. A lot of it comes down to listening to the community now. So, I think James was talking a lot about how, it's important to have a close connection with your players and make sure that you understand their wants and needs. And I would say that that's kind of a core thesis of LeoFinance, which is, we're listening to the community and we're saying, this is what the community is asking for. And then when we're meeting as a team, we're looking at those asks and we're putting them on the roadmap, and then, basically fleshing them out and looking at what is best to add next. I think when you reach a community of any scale, so our community is not a huge community, but it's a decent sized community, and when you reach that scale, the community can really lead the charge in terms of ideation. So we have a long-term vision, a broader vision of what we're aiming to achieve, which is democratizing finance. And then on the road to get there, I think the community has a lot of say in what we're doing to achieve it. I think you're muted, Eric.
We don't hear you, Eric, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, community is the basis for everything. Like all of the crypto projects have a Discord community, a Telegram community. They are trying to expand as much as possible on the social side. And I think that's one of the best things that LeoFinance offers, which is a place where the community can discuss through community pages, which is something that we want to create for you guys, James and Ozan. If you want, we have a community page for you on LeoFinance where your audience can go there and write posts regarding HeroContinent and Avaxtars. So, but we will talk about that later. James, do you want to expand on this topic? Your creation process. How do you work with your team? How do you handle developers, creators? Go ahead.
I think Cal already concluded everything what we got. One more thing is because we are a GameFi project, so we need members. Especially we need somebody who have the influence. So our strategy is to looking for those influencers, or we call that whale users. Those are the major foundation for us, because since the game is starting, if there's no one playing or no one have the influences to expanding or how to say that, influence those people won't get to know. And even we have some press or advertisement, but it won't affect people, especially in this winter, bear market, winter market. So nobody will care about you, and nobody knows about you. That's the only thing I will suggest. Have to marketing research and looking for someone who can fight with you together, and which they also need to be bigger.
Yeah, we are definitely in a long crypto winter, and those apps that build and that continue expanding are going to be the winners for the next bull market. I agree. It's very important to keep growing even through the winter. Ozan, do you want to start?
Yeah, of course. So what we are doing is we have a roadmap and a strong roadmap. Of course, sometimes things may take longer to make it better. So in this part, communication is really important, because users want to know when some things will be released. And we communicate that when if we have a change on our roadmap, for example, we are hosting an AMA AMA session where we answer all of the questions of the users transparently. So being transparent on roadmap is really important. And our advantage on roadmap is since we are already a software company and we are working with big clients, we have ongoing process on development. So also we have a really strong team which handles community communication and also planning, because the most important thing on blockchain or GameFi economy is building your token emissions, etc. Well, because it affects your value of your token or excitement of the users, because if you break the my my microphone was closed. So should I start from? I don't know.
You're good. You can just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I mean when you have a balance of your token, because you give tokens and also you get tokens for you make users to use their tokens in games. For example, we have started Lucky Wheel, where users pay with tokens and then get some items, for example, or they can change the name of their NFTs by using their tokens. So it's so important for the economy is so important for a GameFi. And as I stated, our advantages, we already have a process of development, and we are using the same process like we are doing the development normally.
Yeah, and I think that what you mentioned about tokenization and funding, it's very important. And I think it all boils down to having a good team, having good communications, that the founder has a very clear image of what the future looks like. And well, it's all about a good execution. And I think that those dApps who execute correctly during the bears will definitely get the best hand in the next year. So you mentioned tokens. So we are currently leaving the tokenization of everything phase.
Sorry to interrupt you. You're muted on Discord.
Oh, I didn't notice that. So just one second. I don't know why I'm muted. Hey, the Discord, can you listen to me?
It still shows you muted.
Weird.
I think now you're. Oh no. Yep. Now you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So well, pretty much we are leaving the tokenization of everything phase, because the last 5 years it was all about, hey, let's tokenize this, let's tokenize that. A huge amount of apps came out and they were all offering this new token and coming up with use cases that were pretty much useless. And those apps who actually offered good use cases stayed. So what I want to ask you guys is, we are right now on the NFTization of everything. What's the issue with this, or what are the advantages, and how can you leverage NFTs and all this hype, which is arguably fading right now, but it's still something that came to stay? And how do you determine the economics of having different tokens, different NFT collections? How do you fund your projects through tokens or through your own budget? But in the end, you need funding. So how do you deal with all of this tokenization and NFTization of everything? And what do you think it's good practices and what are bad practices? And basically, how do you determine your tokenomics? So Cal, do you want to start?
Yeah, tokenomics is an interesting concept. I feel like it's kind of an economic theory. It's a segment of economic theory that's still kind of being developed. So I think over the long run, what you're going to see is just a lot of different experiments, and you're already seeing that in real time with people trying all sorts of different tokenomics and basically just taking what crypto has to offer in terms of technology and playing it out in a million different simulations. What you're seeing across the entire space right now is just a lot of different projects coming out and basically trying to see what works, try to see what doesn't work. And if you're paying attention to the space, you'll see a lot of different tokenomic structures. So You know, I pay a lot of attention to different projects like Rune, and obviously like Hive, Leo, stuff like that. And I'm paying attention to, you know, where the tokens are flowing, emissions rates, and all sorts of different mechanics like that, and seeing how that leads into, you know, the project's success. And I was actually on a podcast yesterday where we were talking about, you know, why tokenization isn't as successful as it might be, as it, you know, might have supposed to have been. And I'd say a lot of projects have focused on tokenization in terms of making, you know, existing users rich or making founders rich, instead of focused on what the original idea of tokenomics were. And if you go back to Bitcoin, you know, the original idea of Bitcoin mining rewards was to secure the network and get people incentivized to basically provide their energy and secure the network. And so tokenomics from the beginning were intended to actually onboard people and grow a network from zero. And instead, you know, a lot of different projects have turned it into, you know, making wealth and creating more of a stock. And I think if you start to get back to the base principle of using tokenomics as an incentive for particular actions like onboarding or you know, sharing or getting people to play to earn, I think that's where you can get a lot of success out of your tokenomics.
Yeah. James, do you want to add something to this? I think it's pretty important to share a little bit about how you are dealing with all of these tokenizations, because you mentioned that you have a main blockchain, but you are also looking into expanding. So how are you dealing with all of this?
You know, I totally agree with what Carl said, and just trying to my personal opinion that whenever the world is the real world or the crypto world or the metaverse world, there's everybody knows there's a ecosystem, and this is ecosystem. It's actually very simple. We call it the balance sheet, the balance point. Whenever the token generates more than the cost or the spent, so the value of the token will be collapsed or it will decrease. And whenever the coins or the tokens will spend more than the generation, so the coin or the token will be increase the values. That's very simple and easy to understand. So for the rest, I totally agree with what Carl just said now.
Okay, thanks. Ozan, do you want to add something?
Yeah, we have, as I stated, we have sold NFTs at start, and the problem we had was we were 3 founders, and other 2 founders who were having half of the budget have left the project, and we had to continue with the other half part of the budget. But we were lucky because we take it, or I should say Avaxtars was lucky because we are in a long run. We don't expect to earn earlier. So we are funding our project now. And since we are already a software company, you know, the biggest in fact spend is on software development for us. And since we are a development company, we continue, and since we have other clients, we can move budgets from other clients to this project, and we think we are creating a value with our community, and also, of course, we have our word on the project, so that we are continuing the project, and we will finish our roadmap and also continue developing project, because we have a community and they believe in us, and also we are happy to code and happy to improve the project. Of course, I want to thank all of our team members, because they continue and most of them are volunteered. So, but what we lack is on marketing side. We also have a budget for marketing, but it's so hard for blockchain to spend the budget on right place, and we are suffering on that, in fact, because user acquisition is not a so easy part. But I think when we have multi-chains, we will have new users, and also we will support it with, as I said, our marketing budget and continue. So also we will seek, of course, for VC fund, as I guess, and we are continuously talking with VCs for funding. So how we do this is like this. But on the tokenization side, as I mentioned before, we didn't made an IDO, and like Bitcoin did at first, users have to spend time on the site to earn tokens, which let us to keep a balance on tokens. So our token is not hyped or valued what it shouldn't and down. It's going straight.
Yeah, it is definitely something weird to deal with. Once you have your initial budget, but you want to continue building, you have to connect with your with your community and to keep growing, because at one point it is the community who is going to keep funding all the development. Thank you, Ozan. So we are now moving to a more discussion type kind of conversation. So I really want to go into the alpha and crypto markets topic. It would be great to hear you guys speak openly about how you assess the crypto market. How do you find alpha? How do you stay on top of the crypto news? Because right now we are facing like we have thousands of tokens. We have hundreds of tokens coming out every week. Most of them are rug pulls. Most of them are scams. How do you differentiate a good project from a bad project, or a scam from a legit project? How do you, as founders, as crypto, well, one could say you are crypto experts or blockchain experts. So how do you stay on top of the market, and how do you assess a good project, and how do you copy that project, or how do you emulate the good practices of that project? This part of the conversation, it's going to be a little bit more discussion like. So Carl, if you want to open the conversation, and let's just continue.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time, naturally, I spend a lot of time reading articles on LeoFinance and obviously threads and just kind of going through the ideas of others. You know, it's a funny question, because the whole reason why all this stuff started was because I wanted a place where people could come together who had deep knowledge about different crypto projects and the space in general and finance. So, you know, it's a funny question to me, because that's the exact reason for the creation of LeoFinance. So that's definitely the number one source of my information. I would say after that is closely followed by Twitter. So I spend a ton of time on Twitter reading, you know, reading tweets from various people in the industry. There's a lot of great crypto researchers out there who basically just post all their information on Twitter, you know, by making threads and posting articles. And then I'd say third to that is Substack. So Substack has really been growing lately. It definitely kind of exploded over COVID, and now there's a lot of different people who are creating newsletters. So I'm subscribed to a bunch of different newsletters. So I wake up each morning, just kind of read through those. And there's a lot to learn in terms of, as an investor, just looking for stuff to buy and generate some alpha. And then as a founder and you know, project manager looking for ways to integrate different ideas. I'd say it's once you come across some good ideas, it immediately will spark some light bulbs in your head. So I think that's kind of the best way to do it for me. I know everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. Well, I am subscribed to like 14 different newsletters, and I mean, it's just incredibly hard to stay on top of things without getting a lot of noise or paid shields, or like just going to the web forums where they discuss crypto and finance. It's just pretty hard to keep focused. James, do you want to add something?
Yes, sure. For me to looking for the news, especially the new tokens like recently XEN, they are the hottest topic at the moment, and everybody is talking about that, and they are existing in different chains. So I mean, for the good projects, they come out like naturally. Everybody knows, and everybody will talk about it. Even the media, the Twitter itself, or the biggest medias will report about it. And as talk about the scammers or the shit tokens. So when we go to their Twitters, actually, nowadays which I really agree Elon Musk said, and there's too many fake Twitters, and they make up their numbers or the followers, but actually they don't have anybody who interested in them. And when you go through their Twitter, there's actually no replies, no real organic people to follow their topics. So these really high risk tokens. That's what I think.
And for me, I think there are so much people who want to make quick money, and there are so much ruffles and scams. And the biggest problem is, for example, you can follow a Twitter account where you found some useful information, but one day he or she may want to make some quick money, and they can mislead people. And the biggest problem is the regulation. Of course, it's so important to democratize and to make freedom come to finance, but also we need some part of regulation where people should fulfill their promises. So I think when you make an investment, or when you enter a project, you shouldn't forget that you can lose. So it happens. It may happen all the time. So we are early adopters. We will of course benefit from this, but we shouldn't forget that all projects may end up, because there is no regulation. So any project is not bound to anywhere, and any project can end. And I think the most important thing is this one. And of course, education is really important on this, because many people don't know this area, in fact, and they are trying to enter and earn quick money, and they're losing their assets or their money. So anyone should no time forget that there is a risk on all of the projects.
Yeah, and crypto is getting a lot of bad reputation, because everyone's looking for the next 1000x, and everyone is looking to scam people. So it's pretty hard to identify what's legit and what not. So thank you guys for sharing this with the audience. We are about to close the roundtable, and we will begin the Q&A section. But I do have one last question for you. How do you envision 2023, not for the crypto markets, but for project development? Because if we continue down this bear trend, there will be less. Well, there probably will be less projects coming out, and most of the existing projects will eventually die out because if the money stops flowing, keeps not flowing as it has been for the past year, a lot of projects will definitely die. So how do you envision 2023 project-wise, not market-wise? Cal, do you want to start?
Yeah, it's the way I see, and today's a funny day for the market because we're seeing Bitcoin down 3%, and we just got a pretty bad inflation read, and the market is really just kind of following the global market, in my opinion. So we're pretty much in this recessionary time, and in crypto we like to call it a bear market, but really the whole market is kind of going in the same direction. And a lot of people like to pick and choose what is good and what isn't, and they like to say, they'll look at, let's just say they'll look at a particular token and they'll say this token sucks, it's down 80-90% from its all-time high. And the funny thing about that is that the whole market is down, but when you look at this, basically, if you take like a pie chart of all assets and you say you classify them by what level of risk on they are, so basically what leveraged risk do they have, you can see pretty clearly that risk on assets are just getting beaten and battered no matter what market you look at. So right now there's a flee to safety, there's a flee to the easiest and lowest risk return possible. So you're seeing basically fixed assets be propped up, and you're seeing any sort of risk asset tank essentially. And the more risky the asset is perceived, the more it is down. So look at something like, just to keep it close to home, look at something like Leo, and it's seen as a very high risk asset. It's a small project that has a lot of potential to go up, but it's also a project that has a lot of potential downside because of the risk. But then you take a project like Rune, and it has kind of a similar matrix in terms of being a high risk asset, and it's also down 90% from its highs. And then you look at Bitcoin, where it's also a risk asset but not quite as risky, so it's down but not down as much. And then you start kind of legging out from there. You look at like the S&P, and it's down a lot, but it's not down quite as much as something like Bitcoin. You look at tech stocks, and they're down not as much as Bitcoin, but more than the S&P. So the way I'm looking at this whole market is the matrix of risk, and how a lot of people are basically fleeing to safety. In the end, what's going to happen is the same thing that happened in the last bear market in crypto, or the last recession in the global markets. The projects and the tech companies and the normal blue chip companies, any of them that figure out how not only to survive the bear market, but actually to take lessons out of it and continue building their technology or their business model will actually thrive more when the economy recovers.
Yeah. Ozan, do you want to add something?
Yeah, sure. And I think the most important thing on crypto is blockchain. And we need some real world usages of blockchain, because it's so important to have a source of truth which is validated from multiple sources, and having a trustless system. So I think as we are early adopters, we are having an experimental section, and we can win, we can lose, but at least we will learn. So it's so important to take into account that you can lose, of course, you may win, you can win big, but having this as the mainstream source of income is so risky. So you need to have some alternative source of incomes at this stage, I think, because think that you will just have crypto as a source of income. It will be so hard for people having just their income divided to 10. So it's hard times, but as I said, there will be an explosion when people or governments or other parts will be ready to have these technologies, and we are just starting. When we, for example, sell our cars through blockchain, the time will come at that time. So don't forget that we are just starting, and we should be ready to be sustainable through this process. Because of that, I don't care bear market or else. I just trying to learn and adapt before everyone is coming.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people, well, many people just quit their jobs a few years ago thinking, oh yes, I can live off crypto. I can just quit my job, stay at home, trade, and I will be a millionaire. And obviously the market always goes up and down. So as you say, it's pretty important to have a main source of income and then just invest your side income into crypto, especially during these bears. James, what do you have to add?
I think the cryptocurrencies now are more close connection to the American stock exchange. As you can see, whenever during this year, whenever the American to raise their interest rate, the cryptocurrency will go collapse every time, no exceptions. And by the now it's October, so by this year, before end of this year, there will be another 2 times. One is from the American, and another one will be coming from the EU. So everybody should be cautious about that. And talk about the crypto itself. It will always have a lifetime. So same like economic lifetime. We think the lifetime of the cryptos like 4 years. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin will be like shrink to half, generate half than previous 4 years. So let's say by end of this year and till next May, like May 2023, the market will still keep the bear market, and after May, I think the market will going to climbing. I don't know when it's gonna be booming, but for sure from now to before May of 2023, everybody should hold and don't do contract. It's very risk. Nobody should do that.
Yeah, just as the chat is saying, when you are investing, you are betting on either side to go your way. If you're buying a token when it's going up, you are betting that it will keep going up. If you're buying a token when it's going down, you're betting that it will stop going down and it will take an upwards trend. So I'm looking at some questions on the chat. And so Sanjam Kapoor, and this is a question for all of you, Kyle, James, Ozan. Could there be a decline in projects on Ethereum due to high cost and more chances for developers shifting to Hive, or in any other case to feeless transaction blockchains? How do you see projects migrating from expensive transaction blockchains to free transaction projects, blockchains? Do you want to start, Ozan?
Yeah, I can start from that. So projects should not forget that they need some other ways of moving forward. So I think on that part, of course, Ethereum is not declinable, or you cannot ignore Ethereum because there are so much people who are in Ethereum. So I think it will last. It will go on improving. But projects should have some other ways. For example, on Avalanche, we have subnets. Subnets are like parallel chains. But they are validated from the main chain. So there are trustable some parallel highways. So for example, when you build a subnet, then you can use your own token for transaction fees, which means that you can balance or set some things on your chain. And also it's validated by validators on Avalanche. So you can use bridges, etc., to use multiple chains. So projects need multiple chains for different needs. Use bridges. I'm seeing my own voice, but okay. So to summarize, I think projects need more integrations and other solutions, and I think this should be zero fee, but of course it's so hard for projects to sustain this because of some attacks, etc. So what I say is this on transaction side.
Okay, before James adds something, and this might give more to the conversation by James. Troy is disagreeing here. Ozan, how do you compete and you continue developing if building a game to compete with the big players? Where do the funds come from? Selling NFT and token funds development while providing gamers ownership. How do you achieve true decentralized play-to-earn economy? And this is something that you might be interested in, James, without getting the ownership of game assets and revenue in the gamer's hands.
So what we have done was, as I stated first, we have sold NFTs. So we are not zero budgeted, but of course it was hard for us first dividing those budget by half, and then now we have just 1/10 of it. But we have planned everything at start, so we knew that it's a long story, and I think it's not only what you earn is not just those things. We have, by the way, commissions from NFT sales on marketplace, and also we are getting commissions from item sales, etc. But for example, we haven't sold any tokens yet, and we don't have any tokens for the owners, because token values are created by the community, and we don't find it correct to sell your tokens, because you are decreasing the token value, and also you're getting those money from your users. In fact, because of that, we haven't used our tokens, and in fact we had a problem with some hack, so we used some of our tokens to fix that, and we have a decreased number of tokens that the team has when we had an accident. So what we do is we take this as an investment, and we are in a long run. We are valuing our project and the infrastructure also, because gaming industry is not a small industry. When you have a fully working game engine, it's also valuable for a software company. So we are sustaining this project as an exception for us. In fact, it's not a normal case that you run out of money, but you continue because you will win one day. And since we have different source of incomes, our main our main target is not just earning money from this game. So we want to build.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to be honest, I just found out about Avaxtars last week when I was researching good projects with good potential, with a good community, with good tokenomics. And that's why I reached out, because I wasn't familiar with Avaxtars, but I'm pretty I'm even thinking about buying some NFTs, or just getting in depth with the game. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm gonna try to play some and see how the playing dynamics are. And James, I think this question goes a lot around HeroContinent. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, just trying to say that first of all the games is just like the same like the investment. So the investment won't assure you will gain. It might make you lose, that's for sure. And second, someone like it's choice asking how to achieve the true decentralized. So we have a roadmap, and also it is like thinking, okay, if the game going to mature in the future, like 1 year or 2 years after now, so the players is just like NF holders. They can propose, they actually own the game by some percent, and they can propose some suggestions to the whole community, and in the community you can vote yes or no, or something like that, or you will have some choices. So together the players and the dev, they can have the ideas concluded, and where we can have the answers for the major people. So that's what we think. Maybe we call that DAO2 DAO. So if someone who is a real player, a big player, and they can starting some proposal to the game itself. So it's actually not 100% decentralized, but maybe there's so many small circles by different groups. So every group, they will come up with some proposal to the game, to helping the game for development or project to have a better longer time, lifetime, something like that.
Okay, yeah, it is definitely a great add up to what Ozan said. And I just want to add that HeroContinent was also new for me, and this is exactly what this roundtable is about: learning about new projects, learning from the founders, hearing what you guys have to say and what you guys have to share about creating a dApp, founding a dApp, staying afloat during this bears. Cal, do you want to add to this question?
Yeah, I actually just saw a question, kind of on similar lines about the BSC halt. So any thoughts related to the recent BSC halt by validators? Is this decentralization? So kind of a nice lead in. I paid a lot of attention to what happened with that, and I thought it was pretty interesting to see what the reaction was to an event like this, because BSC really hasn't had anything quite like this happen, at least not in very recent history. So there's a lot of people coming out and saying that BSC is not decentralized. It's not it's not like Bitcoin. It's not ran permissionlessly. So they basically think that CZ is sitting there with a button and he can control everything. I actually don't believe that that's entirely true. I think obviously he has a lot of control over what happens, and we shouldn't fool ourselves over that. But at the same time, I think and this goes back to something I've said on AMAs in the past, that everything is on a spectrum of decentralization. So nothing is necessarily perfectly decentralized. And when you really look at things, you can say Bitcoin is provably more decentralized than BSC. but BSC is likely more decentralized than something like a Solana. So when you look at things that way, it gets a little bit more interesting and more nuanced. The other way to look at it is that decentralization and centralization aren't necessarily good and evil. I think a lot of people like to plaster it that way and say that decentralization is inherently good and centralization is inherently bad, which I don't buy into that. I think that there are trade-offs to each one, and in specific scenarios, you want one or over the other. Actually, in a scenario like a chain halt because of a hack, centralization actually saved BSC and Binance a lot of money. If they were more decentralized, it would have taken longer to take the chain offline. It would have taken longer to get exchanges to freeze the accounts and bridges to freeze the accounts. So the fact that they are more centralized than decentralized actually led into their benefit. So that's kind of my hot take potentially on decentralization in the crypto space. I think there's plenty of reasons to say that decentralization and centralization have their own place in the world. And as long as you understand, I think the best thing is to not fool yourself about what is decentralized and what isn't, and to what degree they are decentralized. I think that's the most important thing. It's kind of like that do your own research idea. As long as you're informed, I think you can make the right decision.
Yeah, it is the long argument of decentralization versus centralization. It's never going to end. And just for the last question, we will wrap it up here. I have a personal question for you guys. I hope it's okay. So I'm just curious, what's your morning routine, and how do you stay awake 20 hours a day? Like, do you do any enhancing, or do you how do you manage to keep a project afloat? Do you want to start, James?
It's a funny question. Every morning you wake up, there's already so many questions in the Discord and other groups. And when you wake up in the morning, there's always somebody looking for you, and you will have so many at and same as your email inboxes. So actually, you have no choice. The project will push you all the time, and even 24 hours a day. And sometimes you just trying to close your eyes and fall asleep. And when you wake up again, and there's so many messages you need to read about, and so many questions you need to answer, and so many tasks. And when you go look back around, after you get success, when you look back, so it's normal, it's easy. But during the day, you are dealing with all the questions, all the difficulties that will make you awake all the time.
Yeah, it's a child that takes 24 hours of your day every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
And for us, it was so hard when we first started, because it was new, and we need to tell people exactly what we are trying to do and what we are doing. So first we have to answer the questions by ourselves, but afterwards, when the community is mature, then users started answering questions by themselves, because we clearly explain what we are doing and what we are trying to do. This let us sleep more and get back to normal life. But it's not so easy, of course. It was so hard before we built this community. And I would like to thank our team, because they were in a really critical position while answering questions. We handled these like this, with transparent communication and explanations. Our community now handles most of the questions by themselves.
That's nice.
Yeah, my morning routine is, I wake up, I click start on a bot that reads for whens and just answers soon. And then I make some coffee. I basically sit down. I have, like James said, I have a ridiculous amount of messages all the time. So I basically just sit down, start looking at some messages. I've in the beginning of the project, I was able to respond to everybody and answer every question and answer every DM. But now, I'm looking at my Discord and I have 1,400 unread DMs. So I don't answer DMs anymore. Instead look at DMs from my developers and team members, and that's really all I do. And then, I definitely lurk in chat rooms where the community is talking, and it's a good point that Ozan made, which is that the community, once you build it up, kind of starts to answer their own questions. So newer community members come in, and older existing members will answer questions that previously would have had to been answered by the team. So it's kind of nice when you start to actually build out a community that's engaged and informed, and they start to kind of take the mantle from you a little bit. So I like to lurk and just kind of read and see that people's questions are getting answered. And then, a big thing that's helped with workload and routines is building out more structure. So having things like a tech support bot and stuff like that is really important. But yeah, I also, I make it there's a lot of days during the week where I have to be up, basically in the middle of the night at my time zone to work with developers and make sure that I'm there for them when they need something. So what I often do is not sleep too much during the week, and then on the weekends I will catch up on my sleep and take it a little bit easier. I think it's important to have some sort of balance, because it's easy in this space to be working, like you said, 20 hours or sometimes I'm up for more than 24, even 36 hours at a time, just working overnight, and then on the weekend I'll catch up on that. So to me, that balance is very important, and finding a way to make it work in your own life is key.
It is the founder's life. It never stops.
Nope, never stops.
This pretty much concludes the first cross-chain roundtable by LeoFinance. First of all, I want to thank James and Ozan, because it was a great experiment that we are going to continue every week, and you guys are the first hosts, the first guests. So I just want to thank you guys, and we want to thank the whole community. I noticed that some of your community members came to the Discord channel and stayed active and asked some questions. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Expect the next roundtable next week. We are off. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Thank you so much, and we will be excited to join your community and open a channel on your site so that we can democratize finance together.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys on there.
Yeah, so we are off Discord.